The RealAgriculture.com Beef School is presented by DuPont Pioneer. To find more Beef School episodes, go to beefschool.ca.
So good question, one we get very often. There's a lot of benefits to both crops. We've been seeing in most areas of Western Canada now where corn continues to, maintain an economic advantage over barley silage. So its yields and quality have kept it in a point where, it's been growing in popularity because it's maintaining that yield advantage and bringing some other important traits forward. A lot of benefits to feeding corn silage. There's the different dietary reasons like how fast it passes through the rumen, the higher energy. As simple as the fact of calves like the taste of corn silage better than barley. They're going to go on feed a fair bit quicker on corn silage versus barley. So I'm not saying, eliminate one completely or the other from your operation, but I think corn silage has definitely gotten to the point in most areas of Western Canada where it can be a real benefit to your operation.
Okay, so now let's move into hybrids. What should we be looking for specifically in a hybrid when we're looking at corn?
The most important thing is to match the hybrid to your growing season. Look for a maturity that will finish on time based on your average heat units. So that data is available from the provincial governments. Really look at a good area average. Be realistic about what you can manage. Lots of producers chase later maturing products, try and get that high yield, but be cautious that last year's high temperatures aren't going to be maybe next year. So just be really sure to match your hybrid to your area.
So that's the most important thing. What about physiologically? Is there anything we would look for in the plant? Maybe a leafier plant or anything along those lines?
Forage yield comes from the plant and the ear. So one without the other is not as effective. So a plant that finishes, matures correctly is going to have both those good components. You want to look for something that has good plant health that fits your growing environment. Maybe you want to be cautious of if there's any disease pressures in your area to make sure your hybrid has some tolerances to those. But in the big picture, I think if we can just match our hybrids to the environment, put up good green silage with nice starch deposition in the kernels, that should be our number one goal.
So when should we be cutting silage? When should we look to do that? Barley or corn?
So for forages, we generally want to see them being put in the pit in that 62 to 68% moisture range. And what that does is that gives us the best window for packing and quality generally. You can obviously put silage in the pit wetter than that and drier than that. Just some certain considerations should be taken place to ensure the quality for the long term.
Okay, so what are we looking at when it comes to length of your chop?
So for most producers with kernel processors, the standard recommendation now is about 3/4 of an inch for their length of chop. Lots of different factors can affect whether it should be a little longer than that or shorter. Things such as, what kind of system are you using for storage? Is it a bunker? Is it a bag? Is it a pit? Other things can be like moisture. If you're cutting your silage on the wetter side, it doesn't hurt to creep it up, maybe towards an inch. If you're in the 70s, right, less cuts means less places for the silage to leak moisture. If we're drier, we want to move towards a shorter chop, towards a 1/2 inch in length, because the shorter the pieces, the better the pack is, the harder packing we can do. So lots of things can play into that, but the general rule of thumb with a good kernel processor is about 3/4 of an inch. So, the real benefit of corn silage is the corn grain. And to get the most advantage of that corn grain in your silage, it's important to kernel process and to kernel process correctly and do a good job of it. We all know the benefits of rolling barley. Think of kernel processing your corn silage as the same purpose. So, at Pioneer, we've developed this way to monitor and to measure how good our kernel processing is, and it's as simple as filling this cup with corn silage, spread it out on the hood of your truck, and the goal is to see no more than 3 kernels that are either completely whole or just broken in half. We want to see as many kernels as possible, really broken up as much as we can. So that means when we see those kernels really broken up, and as long as there's no more than 3 whole or partial kernels, that the animal is going to be able to have the ability to digest as much of that starch as possible, right? Because if the kernel's whole or only slightly chipped, the animal's rumen just isn't going to be able to access the starch in the same way. So important to monitor that, talk with your chopper operator or your custom harvesters to ensure that you're getting the quality of the product in the pit that you work so hard all season to grow.
When we're packing our pits, what's the best way to do that? Should we just be going around and around and around? Should we be pushing up a big fluffy pile?
So what we would generally recommend is a producer think about, first of all, do I have enough packing weight, right? So you can put it in real slow or you can put it in real fast, but you really need to match your packing power to the rate of forage coming in. And there's lots of calculations on the internet to help you determine that. The second thing is that when we're filling the pit, we generally like to do it at, say, a 30-degree angle, and no more than 6 inches of material at a time. If you go more than 6 inches of, per layer with the tractor, what we find is that the compaction doesn't quite get down to that deeper level, and you might see some, spoilage in layers going through the pit if we're not getting it packed right because we're taking too much material up each time. So maintain that nice slope, don't overpack it, but make sure, most important is to get all the air out.
So is packing the main factor when it comes to something like spoilage?
It's probably one of the biggest ones. There's a lot of things that can impact spoilage in the pit, but I would say definitely lack of packing or proper covers, two of the biggest, opportunities for loss we see in silage. If we're silaging in muddy conditions and we're getting a lot of that dirt in the pit, that can cause some spoilage issues. But, a lot of problems can be overcome with good pack and good cover.
So with all of this that we learned, how do we know we have good silage in the end? If we've monitored all this, how do we walk into the pit and just determine?
Well, the first thing I look at a pit when I walk up to it is to see are there puddles around it, right? Is it leaking? That's a pretty easy first sign to look for. It's not hard to miss the smell of some of that, as we all know. So I look for, if there's a lot of wetness coming out of that. We all know that generally when we see a pit leaking, it's what's most important from our silage, right? That's quality leaking out. So I'll look for that. The old smell test is pretty consistent. If it smells bad, it's probably got a problem inside it. And then to just look for general spoilage and molds, right? Do we have good cover? Can we see spoilage on the top? Are we seeing molds within the pit itself? And those are the things that we can look for to really judge our quality and how well we did.